Welcome to the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, we have a doozy for you this week. But first, let me give you the title. It's called Don't Lose Your Place. I wanted to talk about a couple of things pertaining to that title because that title affects everyone. And what I want you to do is resonate on that title that says, Don't Lose Your Place. Whatever your place is, but don't lose your place. It's very important that you don't lose your place. Let me go in and just talk a little bit about that particular statement. But first, let me share something with you that has resonated with me that Nikola Tesla has said. And it has just stuck with me. When I heard one of his interviews and he made that statement, it stuck with me. And it made me think about something. But he was being interviewed by a reporter. And one of the things Nikola Tesla was, I don't know if you would call him an engineer, but he studied a lot of things and invented a lot of things. Before his death in a hotel in New York, Nikola Tesla had written every invention that he had patented or discovered. And in his hotel room, he had 80 bins of paperwork of all his inventions. But as I have read, only 40 bins have been discovered and renounced to the public, as this is the only parts of Nikola Tesla's inventions was made available because the federal government seized all of his inventions and papers in the 80 bins. Whatever happened to the other 40 bins, who knows? They're probably somewhere waiting to go through and discover more of his magnificent inventions. But only 40 was discovered. And my understanding that his paperwork, his inventions, his patents have been placed in a museum somewhere. I read that a long time ago. If you want to study and find out where his museums and where his paperwork is, you can do that. I did not do that. Maybe I will one day, but I did not do that. But I did read somewhere where they have publicly placed some of his inventions for the public to see. But one of the things that Nikola Tesla said, one of the things he wanted to do is he wanted to illuminate the entire earth with light, electricity, like the planet Venus, like you see the little, the rail that goes around this planet. He wanted to illuminate the entire earth with electricity. He says there is enough electricity to become a second sun. And that's S-U-N. And I know many of you, when I said a second sun, S-O-N, well, he was talking about a second sun as in the sun that we see in the sky. He wanted to illuminate the earth with electricity. He says that the earth has enough electricity in it where it could be illuminated and it duplicated like the sun. And I thought that was very interesting because as some of you Bible scholars, that is the same thing that we have been taught and I don't want to say believers, Christianity, as the Son and the Son and the Father there's a scripture in Hebrew 4. It says, the Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being, sustaining all things through the powerful word of God. And when he said that, it made me go back to that scripture portraying that. This is why I think that science and Christianity is so much similar, and it also depicts the understanding in a natural sense to understand the magnificence of God. But we're not going there. We're not going to go to the religion because our topic today is don't lose your place. And the reason why I wanted to emphasize what Nikola Tesla was speaking about, that there is enough electricity to become a second sun, which means that there's electricity and energy here in the earth that represents the sun itself and represents the power and the light and the joy and the peace and all of these things. And so when I was listening to all of these things, and I said, oh my goodness, so if there's enough electricity in the sun, what magnifies for this energy to flow? I always talk about it all the time, the joy and the peace and the love and all these things. But then when we turn on the news, it's always corruption. The first thing you see, someone got shot, someone got killed, somebody murdered, these people are fighting. It's constant, this chaos. And as I was reading a little bit more about Tesla, he explains in his interview that chaos is like this circling formation diagram is just all over the place. But when there is peace and joy and love, it's like this harmony with lyrics. He call it certain music. There's music to your ears and all of these things. And when he talks about having the electricity to become a second earth, he's speaking about the harmony in which the universe is already living. But the earth is not in uniform with the universe. And then there's the problem here. And the reason why I wanted to just explain this before I get into the topic, don't lose your place, has a lot to do with the chaos and the harmony. Now, we have so many people in this world. I believe, I haven't checked lately, it's 8 billion people in the world. And every one of the 8 billion people have a harmony to be in the earth to revolve around that electricity. And around that energy of electricity, so it will be in like form of the sun, which is electricity and power and light and all of that. But what's happening is, again, our title is Don't Lose Your Place. This is what happens when you lose your place. You become a part of the chaos and you're not in your harmony of place. And so, and let me just tell you this. When you're out of your place and you are in chaos, it does not mean that you are part of the chaos who's killing, who's fighting, who's beating up people, who's doing mass shootings, who's being bullied and all of that. That doesn't mean that you are out of your place. And only. It also means you're out of your place doing things that you wasn't called to do to represent the light of who you are. You know, I was sitting there thinking one day, and I sat here and I said, you know, the thing is, you have to live your life in harmony. And when you wake up in the morning, you're in harmony, because what happens when you're sleeping, everything rests and everything come to peace and everything downloads, and there's a resting place when you're sleeping at night. That's a harmony that everyone gives to themselves when they have a resting moment. You say, well, I'm just not going to do anything else. I'm just going to go and lay down, because when you lay down and you rest, everything rests. You just give up the fight of trying to make something happen. But when you are in your place, in the light of your place, harmony seems to just go. Although you hustle and bustling in your place, but it's still a harmony, hustle and bustle. There's a difference between when you are out of place, hustle and bustling, and when you are in harmony, hustling and bustling. It's a totally different feeling. You know, when you hustle and bustling, you're making it happen. There's a flow about what you're doing, and everything is like in sync. All the knowledge, you just know what to do. You just got a lot of work to do. You just know what to do. That's a different kind of hustle and bustle. And I know a lot of people say you got to hustle. You got to work hard. Well, there's a difference between work hard. You got to work. You got to work hard in your place, in your light, in your harmony, and it's happening. But then you got this place where you over here and you out of harmony and you hustle and bustle. You're doing the same thing, but you are out of place doing that. and it doesn't flow. It's not in harmony. It's not in sync. It's not this music beat. If you ever listen to Kanye West music, listen to every one of his music and listen to the beat. It's the same thing. That's why his music is so successful. He understands who he is. He understands the music. He understands the impact of the music. He understands the harmony and the flow. He just understands it. It's just its own beat. Michael Jackson had it. Beyonce had it. And I say these people name because these are the people everybody knows because they have understood their light in the earth. Now remember that Nikola Tesla says there is enough electricity to become a second sun. Let me explain why I want to say that again. There is enough electricity to become a second sun. Now, the reason why I want you to know that you are electricity. You are electricity. You are energy. You are joy. You are peace. Again, let me tell you what he said. There is enough electricity to become a second sun. Now, I want you to know that you are light. It wasn't all about making the earth electricity. It's also making the people who are living in the earth as one in the electricity because God, I want to bring God into this. He has given us all light. We are all a vessel of light. And when Nikola Tesla was trying to make this a second sun, it is the ramification of everything comes into harmony as like the universe, light, energy, peace, harmony, love, kindness, not chaos. So when everything here in the earth is in chaos, it is only to not allow people to know exactly who they are, where they need to be, where they need to control their emotions and to remain in your place so that harmony will continue to live. Even though chaos is all around you, stay in your place because in your place, you get understanding, you get the light of knowledge, you get the energy to stand still until it overpass you so you can continue. You never was moved. And so when the other day I was looking at a launch into the universe. One of the space companies sent a rocket, and I was sitting there looking at Earth and the light of it, and you can see the formation of the light. And I thought about something again about Nikola Tesla. He was talking about the universe is not matter, is made of energy, and the dark parts of the universe, it is information that has not been unveiled. So the universe is filled with knowledge. It's filled with knowledge, but he said the dark parts is matter that has not been unveiled. And when he said matter that has not been unveiled, then I thought about Earth and the people who are in darkness, who are not in their place, who have somehow moved from the place that they should be into another place. And now that they are in darkness, they are still matter, but have not been unveiled to know exactly where they need to be to get back into the light and get back into the rhythm, get back into the knowledge and the joy and the peace. So they will be a part of the light that's implementing the light of heaven, the light of the universe, and the light in the earth. You got to remain in your place. And you may say, well, what about the people who are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing? Let me explain. And I thought about that too. My mind goes, it just all over the place. And I have a lot of questions, when I be thinking about these things. And I say, well, what happens with the people who are doing jobs, who are doing, things that they are not qualified to do, but they're doing it, getting paid for it, living the life, and there's so many different scenarios. I've read this article once in Forbes and this guy who used to be a CEO of a company, right? He was like this, and he said he woke up one morning, he sold everything and he moved to Africa. He said now he feel comfortable. Now he feel at home. That would be someone who was over here doing something. He came to the light to know that's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to be out here in the field, taking care of the animals and looking at, the forest. And that's what he did. He left all that. He had an awakening. That would be matter has been unveiled because he had an awakening, and now he's just at peace and happy. And I read that article, and of course, when I read things like that, I just kind of dissect it and don't know when it's going to come back up. And right now, that story I read like 2 years ago, and now I am presenting this story to you. But for some strange reason, that resonated to me. I was like, that's interesting. That maybe a lot of other people are doing things that they really thought at the moment it was a good idea, but then they have an awakening. We all have an awakening. And that's what reminded me when Nikola Tesla talked about that matter, the dark parts of universe is matter that has not been unveiled. But let me tell you something about the universe and the matter that has not been unveiled. That matter that has not been unveiled is information and knowledge and new inventions and new medicine for doctors to discover, and all of these things, or for a person to discover because that's their place. But the matter that cannot be unveiled because the person who it is assigned to is in darkness somewhere else or doing another job somewhere else, and they are out of place to receive that matter that has not been unveiled, so it can be revealed to that person so they can walk it out. Regardless of how you believe such a thing, God is trillions and zillions and billion years ago. And this is how I depict it. Every person that comes through this world, there's a boardroom that goes on in heaven, and there is your spirit that is in heaven, which is the light. And they're sitting at the table, in heaven as the light, discussing your being here on earth, and for you to walk out who you should be that's already been talked about. So when I talk about matter that has not been unveiled in the light of the earth, so it can walk out a new invention, a new place, a new this. This is what engineers just fascinates me, and how we have these tech companies coming up with all these different social medias and the different details and what we can do with them and how we can do. They fascinate me because the knowledge behind the whole entire coding is magnificent. I mean, if you ever just think about the things that we are able to do on social media, someone that's coding and engineering is coming up with these ideas. What do you think they're coming up with these ideas? How do you think they come up with the ideas? How are they tapping in these places where we can go into the future? You guys, we got to think about our now. What's going to happen now? Because we're talking about Nikola Tesla was coming up with a way that we all could utilize electricity, and we wouldn't have to pay an electrical bill. But the only reason why we are paying an electrical bill because JP Morgan, the bank, did not want to give him any more money so he can finish his patent so that we could live without having an electric bill. So they decided to infiltrate his idea. But let me tell you something about that. Although Nikola Tesla died as a poor man, he still never got out of his place. He's continued creating and writing down all his inventions and all his patents, all his ideas on paper. That's the reason why he had 80 bins of creativity, innovation, ideas. And we are utilizing those ideas, even though he was not this person that we talked about in our school books. But let me tell y'all something. He never got out of his place. He remained in his place. Therefore, he was always a light. And the matter that was unveiled was being revealed to him. This is why I want you to know it is not about notoriety. It's not about everybody in the world who knows me. It is about who you are first. Because if you're remaining in who you are first, Matter will always be revealed to you. You're going to always have people that is always trying to push you out of the way, trying to put your light out, trying to do all these things to you. But let me tell you, if you are in your place and someone is doing that, all they're doing is putting out your light. They need the light that they're trying to put out in order to get out the cave. So eventually, they're not going to get out of the cave because they're putting your light out. Remain in your place and be the light and allow the universe. This is when they say, I'm going to align myself with the universe. That's because you are in your place when things are always continuously pouring out to you. Always. You're always getting ideas. You're always, when you're in a stuck place and don't know how to get out of place, you don't know where your next check going to be, so you won't get thrown out of your apartment, where you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. When you remain in your place and remain in your sight, the light is always shining in you. The light that is in heaven, the unveiled light, which is matter, the unveiled matter. It start to align with you, and you will be able to know the knowledge. The favor comes, the light will come because you are in alignment. Do not ever get out of your place. No matter how many times people try to push you out the way, no matter how many times circumstances try to push you out the way, no matter how many times nature crushes your head down, get us some insurance so you won't have to worry about rebuilding your home or buying your new car. Get in your place. Let the principles of God and the principles of the universe and the principles of who you are main in center, because it always flows like a tunnel. I used to sit there and I think, I'm supposed to be all of this stuff and all of this, and you know what? The other day I had mentioned this and I said, you know what? I'm still in my place. It doesn't matter where I'm doing it, as long as I'm still doing what I was called to do. It says, finish your race. It didn't say finish your race over in Alaska, on the beach doing this. It says finish your race. That means the assignment, so that the light, no matter where you end up, the light is still always be is if you are doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, what flows, what is in harmony, what's peace, what's joy, what's love. No matter how much chaos is around you, stay in your place. I promise you guys, the reason why I say that is because I would not, if I was not in my place, I wouldn't be able to come here and do the things that I do with joy and happiness. As much stuff is all around me, I was like, but the most exciting place for me to do and for me to be is this. I get the most exciting and joyful. It's like harmony with me. And you know for yourself, even when I'm talking to you about this, there's something in your mind that's causing you to smile because you are resonating that place of harmony. That very thing that you enjoy doing is harmony. That's your light. Now, if you know exactly while I'm speaking to you, that is your light. Stay in that place. You will get answers. Heaven and earth aligns with you. You are a light that's beaming from the universe. When the space shuttle people see you, they see your light. It is the people who are not in their place. They just left the light and went over here. Oh, this is going to be a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. A good idea is you remaining in your light. Whether hell, a storm comes, remain in your peace and your harmony, because I promise you, it all will find you. Everyone before I even did this show today, I was thinking about all the people who came under so many different oppositions in life and so many different things. They remained who they are, and they became who they are, and they stayed who they are, and they are the light of who they are. If you think about the people, I mentioned people that everybody know, like Oprah Winfrey, her childhood, the harshness. She still remained who she was. And look at her today. Michael Jordan, the same thing. They told him he could not play basketball, but he remained who he is. He remained and he became the light. We talk about Nikola Tesla. Although people back in the day didn't really know who he was, but he remained who he was. He remained who he is. However the verb you want to say it. He still remains. And let me tell you, his light is still shining today. And this man is no longer with us. His light is still beaming. And I just want you to know, wherever the place that you find harmony and find that light and find that shining star and that joy and that peace, that is your light. Stay there, remain there, gravitate there, write about it, because answers come to you in that place. Hustle and bustle's instructions comes to you in that place. As I stated today, the name of our show is called Don't Lose Your Place. Do not lose your place. Teach your children to not lose their place, because there is the center and there is the peace and the harmony in which you live and move, and you'll become the light every time, because that is the principles of the universe, of earth, of atmospheres that causes things to move rapidly. Do not lose your place, you guys. This is all I wanted to share with you today. I'm really excited. I guess you can tell how fast I'm talking, but I wanted to get this out and just remind you to not lose your place. Okay? Until next week, and this is your girl, Sonia Buchanan, with the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, you guys, I want you to go and be the light. Be the light. Be your light. Be the light and be your light. Okay? See you guys. Bye.
Oh my God, I gotta tell you, I was having a moment and I decided to surf the net. And that's when I came across this website called Comforting Promises, which is a great website, by the way. And get this. On the website was a featured book called The Journey by Sonia Buchanan that was recently published. So I immediately downloaded the ebook on Kindle because it talked about, having faith for your life purpose. And let me tell you, the book is super great. I was so motivated to get back into the game, pursuing my goals. And you got to get the book because it's worth the read.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonia Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to soniabuchanan.com. For information about Comforting Promises broadcast community, you can go to... Thank you for listening to our broadcast, The Sonia Buchanan Show, where we focus on one life, one smile at a time. Until next time, bye you guys.